Good morning, everyone. It is Monday. It is Monday, November 19th, 2018. We got there. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this week. I do not see Friends of Mozilla on the agenda, so if anyone wants to run up and do a thank you very quickly, that would be amazing. Anyone? Anyone with a thank you? Let's try this again. Someone needs to thank someone, or this meeting will not continue. Thank you, Aaron.
I wanted to say a special thank you to Ryan Cohen and Marisha Cotton and Lonnie Segal. They went above and beyond to line up the hiring process for 2 new hires I'll be introducing later to make sure they could attend Moslando. So thank you very much to those individuals.
Thank you, Aaron. All right, and with that, we can get started. So, yes, it's Monday, November 19th, and upcoming events this week. I'm going to refresh the wiki, because sometimes people do sneak on to the agenda at the last moment. We do have an add-ons community meeting on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you can check out your time zone just to make sure that you know what time that is where you are, and that is in the ACE video room, and if you're interested in the add-ons or extensions community, this is a meeting for you. There's a link in the wiki with more information. Also, this week, just calling it out, is American Thanksgiving. A lot of your U.S.-bound coworkers are going to be offline probably Thursday and Friday of this week, dining on delicious food and hanging out with loved ones and tolerated ones and having a very nice long weekend. So we'll miss you. We'll be back next week. Speaking of next week, we have a monthly speaker series. It's Talk Emoji to Me, How Digital Visual Language Impacts Communication, Culture, and Inclusion. That's actually going to be a panel discussion, and that's going to be in our Berlin office, but it's also going to be streamed live on Air Mozilla and available to watch on YouTube as well, and that is 9 a.m. Pacific time and 6 p.m. Central European time. So kind of available for everyone. Hopefully you can check it out, watch it live, or catch it later. There's a link with details. It seems like it's going to be a really interesting conversation. Everyone loves emoji. All right. Upcoming, we do have a handful of speakers this week. Something happened to our agenda, but I think our speakers are down here now. That's okay. We will get that sorted out in a minute. But we do have our speakers, and the first one is Jean-Yves, coming to us remotely from London, talking about FOSDEM 2019. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to speak about FOSDEM. I'm speaking in behalf of Anthony Maton, who couldn't make it today. And I just want to tell everybody that call for proposal for talks at FOSDEM are open. And for the people who doesn't know what FOSDEM is, it's a big and likely the largest open source event in Europe that happens every year for at least 18 years. Mozilla has a presence there since the beginning. And we have a whole room for about 12 talks this year. For a whole day. So we are looking for about 12 talks, very technical talks, as much as possible. And so we would like you to fill the call for proposal and to come and join us on the first weekend of February in Brussels. Just so that you know, we are looking for talks about 30 to 60 minutes. If you submit a 60-minute talk, we may ask you to shorten it sometimes. But you're welcome to do so, and we are looking for only technical kind of talk as well as talk about community and stuff like this. There will be a committee reviewing the talks early December, and mid-December you will know if your talk is accepted. So I hope a lot of you will participate or try to participate and submit talks, and we are waiting all your awesome proposals. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Yves. All right, I have been asked to update or refresh this. I'm just going to real quick do that. But first up, or next up, I should say, we have Maura and Porfirio talking about a campaign update, which is Firefox Fights for You. Let me make sure I have those slides. I think I do. I think they are these. Yes?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Next slide, please. So we want to talk to you guys about 3 initiatives in the works in addition to our existing always-on efforts to close the years out strong for Firefox ADAO. One of them is a brand campaign across 2 of our priority markets to show people how Firefox is different and get them back into the product. And the second is 2 appreciation efforts, which Porfirio will talk to you a little bit about. Next slide, please. So Firefox is the only technology company with a browser that fights for its users' rights to safety, choice, control, and transparency. But not a lot of people are aware of that point of differentiation. So we have the opportunity to tell that story and get more people into Firefox. We're going to be launching a campaign at the end of November, running through the end of the year, which runs across high-impact paid media placements, owned, earned, and in product to get more people to use Firefox. We've done some great user testing to understand how these concepts play out across our two of our priority markets, North America and Germany. Now I'm going to hand over to Porfirio, who's going to talk briefly about some of our loyalty efforts.
Yeah, thanks, Maura. So we want to be present in the cultural moments when people are doing what they normally would be doing, and we would appreciate it if they used Firefox to do that. And one thing that's happening a lot this year is, this time of year, is people are traveling and people are buying things. And an opportunity came up to work with a partner, Booking.com. So again, we're trying to explore new ways to differentiate and show that Firefox can help people do things that they would normally do during the year. So we'll have a snippet out there to introduce this offer to our US users, and they have that opportunity to receive a $20 gift card. This also lines up with Black Friday, as some of you know, is coming up upon us shortly. On the next slide, this is a fun opportunity in that, you know, a lot of times we're talking about privacy, safety, and security. We also want people to understand that Firefox can be used for fun. So on the slide, as soon as it loads next here, you'll see that we're planning a concert series. So Firefox will actually be showing appreciation to users and non-Firefox users that we can have fun using a browser. And this concert series will be promoted in the same way to existing Firefox users, as well as the artists themselves will be promoting this event to their fans. So this is an opportunity to showcase Firefox to a whole new set of users. We're going to have them sign up for reminders with a Firefox account because we've got to get everybody there at one particular time, and we all know the challenge of that, and we'll use a Firefox account to do that. Once they get a reminder and they come to the site, they can enjoy it on any browser they want, but we will be telling them that they should be using Firefox because that's the best experience that they can have to enjoy live streaming and concerts on the web. And our comms team will be working with entertainment media, which allows us to show up in a whole new place. Normally we show up in tech magazines. We've been showing up in a lot of other mainstream media and publications. But this is an opportunity to show up where artists are showing up. And so if you have any questions about any of the things that we talked about today, Maura and I and team are available on Marketing Slack. But yeah, we're excited to share this.
And we don't have the artist confirmed yet, and that's the big,
Stay tuned.
The big reveal. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. And next we have our Firefox roadmap update. And that's Asa here in Mountain View. Let me make sure that's all scrolled and loaded.
Hey everyone. Firefox 63.0.3 is our current release in market. It shipped last Thursday to fix a small collection of bugs, including a problem with Unity games, a couple of crash fixes, and we disabled HTTP response throttling because it was causing some problems with background video play. I mentioned that last week, happened in the nightly channel. We uplifted that to release. Firefox 64 is in the beta channel, and it moves to stable on December 11th. Our 10th beta shipped last Friday, and our 11th beta goes out tomorrow. We have 14 betas scheduled, so as you can see, we're getting into the end game here. Over the last week, we've uplifted about 30 changes into beta, including we reverted a change that had put some move tab items in a submenu. They're back in the main context menu now. RTL support in About Performance. And we had a problem where the share button couldn't be pinned to the address bar, and it can be pinned again. Firefox 65 is in the nightly channel. Over the last week, we've resolved about 480 bugs, which is a bit above our average. Not quite yet last week's 500 bugs, but well above the 450 or so we see normally. In there include the Stream API. We now run media data decoders in their own decoder process. WebP image support has landed and been enabled by default. This is a new image format that's increasingly popular on the web. Recently, Microsoft Edge announced they were going to support it, and there's enough web properties out there that are using WebP that we've decided to go ahead and support it as well. We've implemented the JavaScript global this proposal. I don't know what that is, but some people are excited about it. The Control Center now has a subpanel for trackers. This is exciting. It's a piece of our Firefox 65 work to enable tracker blocking by default. So you can check that out by clicking on the little indicator in the address bar and looking at the subpanel of the Control Center. We fixed a regression where pocket icons were showing up multiple times in the address bar. A few of you may have seen that. You'd get like 25 pocket icons in your address bar, and it kind of blew out the browser UI. We've implemented and enabled the reporting API nightly. Last but not least, for nightly changes, the ENUS dictionary got a few word updates, dispositive, findable, and headspace among them. Most of them used to see headspace in there. That's an interesting one. In addition to these great improvements in nightly and beta, last week we also released an update to Firefox Monitor. As most of you know, Firefox Monitor allowed in the first version users to check their email against known breached accounts, so they could find out if they were using an account that had been exposed. They could also sign up for email alerts. The change that went out to our release users last week was now when you visit a website that's had a breach in the last 12 months, we alert you right there in the browser so that you can take action. Exciting update coming from that team. In addition to the new browser alerts feature, we've also localized Monitor into 26 languages. I want to say a big thank you to the team and a congratulations to all the volunteers who did that localizing. And if that wasn't enough, last week we also launched our Pricewise in test pilot. This is well timed for the holiday gift buying season. Pricewise gives people using Firefox the ability to track product prices across the major online retailers and to get a notification in the browser when those prices drop. Exciting change, so I'm really looking forward to using that myself. If you're interested, you can check out the test pilot program and add that capability to your browser. That's it for this week's Firefox update. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. A shout out to the Pricewise folks. The Pricewise has been written up in all kinds of media publications, been the New York Times. People are really excited about having a browser help you compare prices and do it competently. So big shout out to them. Next up, we've got Kelly Davis in Berlin with a very special emerging technologies update.
Okay, I need to share my screen. Hopefully it's going to work. Share. Okay, great, that worked. Okay, I'm going to try something as an experiment. I'm going to have our pre-alpha version of our text-to-speech engine actually read the update. So here it goes.
First from XR Studio, the first product developed by a participant in our XR Studio program launched last week. Stop the surveillance from the FF rockstar Laura Sketskin, who taught herself A-frame over the summer. Spot the surveillance, which works best with a VR headset, but will also work on standard browsers, places users in a 360-degree street scene in San Francisco. In the scene, a young resident is in an encounter with police. Users are challenged to identify surveillance tools by looking around the scene. The experience takes approximately 10 minutes to complete. For access to the VR experience and instructions on its use, go to this URL. Yopuhawonu, New Zealand's Te Heka Radio received $500,000 of funding to develop speech-to-text and text-to-speech capabilities for Te Reo Maori, the Maori language of the indigenous people of New Zealand. They are training deep speech using their collection of 1,300 speakers and over 193,000 recordings totaling over 300 hours of audio and already getting state-of-the-art results. They plan to contribute back data and code to the Deep Speech project.
So that's it. Just thought it'd be kind of fun to do.
Awesome. And the notes are linked on the wiki for those who want a textual comparison with that. That was actually pretty impressive. Thank you very much. All right. Next, we have our own speech-to-speech provider, Michael Van Cleek in Portland, who is also does a pretty good job at reading these things off. Hello, Michael, for the Weekly Minute.
Hey, Potch. Thanks. Yeah, I was a speech-to-speech and also a speech-to-music provider. I'll demonstrate that capability of MVK later on in this Weekly Minute. Hi, everybody. It's the Weekly Minute with weekly updates from Mozilla IT on the things that we're doing to support and empower all of Mozilla in our mission to keep the web a global public resource, open and accessible to all. An internet that truly puts people first, where individuals can shape their own experience and are empowered, safe, and independent. And today we're talking about empowering you and keeping you safe on the web with a couple updates. First of all, as we talked about last week, we have new Wi-Fi authentication in our offices. Remember, there's a new way to log into Wi-Fi in our spaces. A lot of our spaces have had to do it already. The rest of them come online this week. Some of you might be being lazy and logging into Mozilla Guest. That's not a good idea. Update your password so you can log into Mozilla Wi-Fi. Set up your new login before your deadline to keep using Mozilla Wi-Fi in the office. If you're using any of our test servers or things like that, you know you have to be on Mozilla Wi-Fi. If you're not, you still need to be on Mozilla Wi-Fi for security reasons. Most offices are done now, but Berlin, Mountain View, and London, you need to do this by Friday. Generate your password at login.mozilla.com/Wi-Fi. And for more infos and how-tos, check out the Mana page. It's linked from there. And this might be a really good time, if you haven't done it already, for you to adopt a password manager. Use a password manager to make Wi-Fi and everything else easier and more secure. You know you have to authenticate to Wi-Fi on each of your devices. And if you found out, like some of us did, that every time you go to generate a password, you get a new password, it breaks one of the other boxes, well, now's the time for you to go to a password manager. Mozilla's InfoSec team recommends the use of a password manager to keep you and Mozilla safe. You can use a password manager to easily take care of Wi-Fi authentication across multiple devices. Mozilla has enterprise licenses for 1Password and LastPass. You can learn more about password managers in the Mana page that's linked, and you can get your license by submitting a request through the hub. Be safe out there. And finally, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to Mozillians here in Portland and the USA and really around the world, because Thanksgiving is a universal concept. It's a time to reflect on the bounty of the harvest season has brought us, and to share that bounty with friends, family, and everyone around. And especially in California, now is a great time to be sharing with those who need something. We know a lot of people have been impacted by fires and so many things that have happened this year. Excuse me. I spent a lot of time in my youth in Paradise, so it's kind of shocking to me what's been going on there. I'm thankful to work with all of you at Mozilla, working to make the web better for everyone. And yes, there is a Thanksgiving song. People have wondered. I've linked it to you there. It's Thanksgiving by Poi Dog Pondering. I'm going to give you a few lines now. Somehow I find myself far out of line from the ones I had drawn. Wasn't the best of paths, you could attest to that, but I'm keeping on. Would our paths cross if every great loss had turned out our gain? Would our paths cross if the pain that it cost us was paid in vain? Thanksgiving for every wrong move. Thanksgiving for every wrong move that made it right. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
All right. A text-to-speech is not quite to singing yet, but we're going to get there. All right. Next up, Anya is presenting from Berlin about a new podcast, which is pretty cool. Let me get this zoomed for you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I didn't prepare a fancy presentation, but I think it's not necessary. You can see here the really cool logo of our new podcast about web. We launched it last week, and it's pretty similar to IRL that you know from the US, but we did this in German and having a German and European focus in it. There's going to be 5 episodes of it. Each is about 15 to 30 minutes long. And we did this together in a partnership with Die Zeit, which is a huge newspaper here in Germany, similar to the New York Times. And actually, it's the Z, which is the youngest version of Die Zeit, so to say. This podcast will be, as the name says, about the web, so all the topics that we care about. And we will make sure that we tie in talking points for Firefox as well as for Mozilla. And we're going to have an ad campaign for this running on DeedSite and Set that will drive listeners to the podcast and hopefully a lot of subscribers. And maybe we're going to continue this project. I'm personally super, super, super proud of this. It was a lot of work, and I'm super happy that this is out there. We have amazing guests in this podcast. And yeah, this is basically already it. If you want to listen to it, you can go to this site. There is also a link to the site of Zet, where you can listen to it too. It's in German, of course, but maybe you want to learn a little bit. And for the German people who listen to this call, you should totally check it out and share the news. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, refreshing one more time before we go into some new hires. But I know we have a couple new hires here in Mountain View, or we did. They seem to have disappeared from the agenda, but they're right here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, everyone come up. I'll unshare my screen so everyone can see. Unshare my screen so everyone can see.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, Erin Lancaster from the Firefox Program Management Team. Today, I'm super excited to introduce two new hires. Closer. You can come closer to. We'll start with Bridget. Bridget Kalsuni. Kaluzny.
Yeah, you got it.
She will start. She will take over Firefox Search. So she'll be working really closely with engineering, UX, data science to deliver features like Quantum Bar and other important things that we have going on. Once she gets that the core team established in a better operational rhythm, she'll extend her reach cross-functionally and establish consistency with delivery metrics and reporting for search, and then for 2019, whatever our revenue KPI is from Firefox. So she'll be working remotely from San Diego. She comes to us with over 25 years of experience, both in the finance sector and also consumer electronics, such as Sony. So if you are not in Mountain View today, you can meet her in Moslando. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yay. And then next we have Phyllis McDermott, and she'll be joining to support the Firefox growth team. So ADAO will be her first priority. She's going to be taking the model that the Tiger team developed, and she'll be standardizing that also across the Firefox portfolio. So the way we've been working in the Tiger team will just be the way we do business every day. And she'll also be supporting Chris Moore and team on Firefox onboarding and all those related projects. So she will also be working remotely from San Diego, and she also joins us with over 25 years of experience with major consumer brands such as GE and HP and also Sony. So she'll also be attending Moslando. So if you're not in Mountain View today, you can meet her then. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, and then we have some new hires. I think we have Lars. Are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
Thank you, Poch. So I am excited to introduce to you Thomas Moore. He will be joining the mixed reality team from St. Louis after 10 years on the Internet Explorer and Edge teams. He's worked on DOM, networking, layout, and most relevant to our group, on WebGL and the very first implementation of WebVR and Edge. So he will be at Moslando. Thank you very much, Brianna, for all of your help making that happen. And please come by and say hello, either online or in person at the big event.
And then Matt in San Francisco, and then we have one more in Mountain View. So, Matt, are you with us? Cool. I see you heading up.
Yep, I'm here. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Coyden from Pocket, and I'm here today to introduce you to Jeremiah Bautista. Jeremiah is joining us most recently from a company called TV Time that was focused on TV content. And now we got him working on all types of web content with the Pocket team. Jeremiah is a software engineer, and he's going to be focused on the web for us. Basically, everything that is not the Pocket web app experience. So working with our marketing teams, working with how we onboard users, and coming soon, his first project is going to be doing some year-end focused work. So you'll get a preview of his skills shortly, I suppose. So welcome, Jeremiah.
And then we have another intro here in Mountain View.
Hi everyone, this is Farmers from Emerging Technologies, and I have an ex-Mozillian to reintroduce to the team. This is David Flanagan, who was recently at Khan Academy. He is coming back to join the MDN team and working as part of the engineering team there. I don't know if he's online right now or not, but welcome, David.
Welcome back, David. All right. Anyone else has an introduction? Gonna trust that you would be headed to a podium right now if you did. So it does not look like they do, and so with that, we are all done for this week. It was a jam-packed meeting full of awesome stuff. Hope everyone has a fantastic week. Happy Thanksgiving to folks in the US, and hope everyone has a good week and keeps on rocking the free web. See ya.